The BWA moves swiftly to rectify a breakdown that has left hundreds of customers without water. Tragedy as Barbados records a shooting, a hit and run, and a sudden death in a 24-hour period. And in sports, the Windies can finally lead Bangladesh with some silverware.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
A very good evening to you with the Saturday, December 22nd edition of the CBC Evening News. I'm Ryan Broom in our top story. 'Tis the weekend before Christmas, and lots of Barbadians living in the central parish of St. George, along with thousands in most of the northern parishes, would have awoken to dry taps this morning. It was a situation that considerably hindered the customary Yuletide preparations. A power outage and broken down pumps have been identified as the culprits. It's a scenario that has left the Director of Engineering at the Barbados Water Authority, Charles Leslie, and his team with the task of swiftly rectifying the problem, which has left some customers without water for a long period of time.
This morning, around like 4 in the morning, we had a power failure. Well, power failures which affected our entire west coast of the island from Lodge Hill all the way down. So we have Lodge Hill that was offline, Molyneux, Haymans, Wim, and Ashton Hall. All of those stations went out as a result of a power failure. We've been able to restart some of them, but however, we're having some challenges at Ashton Hall itself. It seems as though we'll have to change the pump at Ashton Hall.
Now, Mr. Leslie adds that they also had some issues with pumps at Ellerton, which resulted in problems for residents in the Mount and surrounding areas. He says the Ellerton pump was therefore identified as one that would have to be changed. The senior BWA official also gave an update on the ongoing water tank installation exercise in some communities, which involves the building and transportation of new bases to accommodate the new water tanks.
As you know, we're still installing tanks in St. Joseph to assist the persons in St. Joseph who are experiencing water challenges as well. And we spent the whole morning really trying to get some of those tanks into the area. We're installing those today as well.
Some sad news now. A number of tragic events over the past 24 hours as we approach the Christmas holidays. It all started yesterday evening with the shooting death of an elderly man in the city. He has been identified as 83-year-old Oscar Anthony Hamblin, alias Nard, of Neptune Road, Deacons Farm, St. Michael. Now, according to Superintendent Margaret Stephen, Hamblin was shot and died on the spot around 6:30 in the busy Marhill Street area.
Marhill Street, in the area near the St. Paul. Police officers in the area responded. They found a male lying in the road. A doctor in the nearby vicinity tried to resuscitate that male, but his efforts failed. He was later pronounced dead. At this time, the investigation is very critical, and there's no more information to be revealed. However, we would like persons in the area who would have witnessed anything, they can contact the police hotline at 429-8787 or the Criminal Investigations Department at 430-7190, 430-7189.
Now, just a few hours later, police were on the scene of what appears to be a hit-and-run incident in Ruby St. Philip, in which another elderly man was killed. He has now been identified as Frederick Jules of Sanford in the same parish. Now, lawmen say they received an anonymous phone call around midnight. That's when Jules' motionless body, clad in a red t-shirt and a red three-quarter pants, was discovered lying face down in the middle of the road. His badly damaged blue bicycle, a cap, and a shoe lay nearby. Now, police are asking anyone with information that can assist with their investigations to call the police emergency number at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS, or the District C Police Station at 416-8200. Then around midday today, there were reports of a sudden death. CBC understands an employee of the Esso service station in Tweedside Road, St. Michael, was on the job when she collapsed and died. Now, she has been identified as 59-year-old Nicole Hines of Oldbury, St. Philip. Police investigations into that incident are continuing. And just a stone's throw away from the Tweedside Road gas station, fire broke out, damaging 3 houses. Fire officials say that around 2:30, they received a call of a house fire in Bibby's Gap, Halls Road. 3 water tenders responded. 1 house was extensively damaged, while 2 others were slightly affected. The fire also damaged a parked vehicle. Investigations into the cause of the blaze are continuing. In other news, Barbados' first female parliamentary representative, Dame Edna Ermintrude-Bourne, has been bestowed with another honor. The committee room of the East Wing of Parliament now bears her name. A plaque at the entrance of the room was unveiled by Governor-General Dame Sandra Mason and Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley in a ceremony last night. It was witnessed by parliamentarians and family of the late pioneering parliamentarian, and Prime Minister Motley reflected on the influence of Dame Edna, who represented the constituency of St. Andrew, on the lives of the many current politicians. Ms. Motley described her as a humble person who gave of her best. Meanwhile, the current Member of Parliament for St. Andrew, Housing Minister George Payne, praised Dame Edna for her contribution to the parish. The popular East Coast Road was renamed in her honor several years ago. And during that ceremony, a plaque was also unveiled in the honor of the island's first female cabinet minister and first female deputy prime minister, Dame Billy Minner. Well, workers of the Sanitation Service Authority, or SSA, will be paid overtime for work done over the holiday period. This follows a meeting held yesterday afternoon with Minister of Labor and Social Partnership Relations, Colin Jordan. Our Lisa Lord reports.
In a statement issued through the Government Information Service, Mr. Jordan convened a meeting with the National Union of Public Workers and the Sanitation Service Authority to address the matter of garbage collection during the Christmas period, specifically over the next 2 weekends. According to the statement, both sides had cordial and frank discussions on the issue of overtime. Mr. Jordan acknowledged that the payment of overtime was not something that is sustainable in the medium or long term for the SSA. The authority is currently operating with its full staff complement, but only 1/3 of its fleet. The Labour Minister pointed out that they are conscious that this is a holiday period and Barbadians, as they go about their Christmas cleaning and preparations, will need to be comfortable that their garbage will be collected and that there will be no public health risks. That statement went on to say that the NUPW and the SSA are also cognizant of the influx of visitors over the Christmas period and, like good hosts, wish to have the country clean for both Barbadians and our guests. At the end of the meeting, it was agreed that the workers of the SSA will be paid at overtime rates for collections this weekend and January 5th to 6th. The workers and their representatives left the meeting with the understanding that changes will need to be made and have agreed to meet again on January 3rd for further talks. The NUPW held a meeting with the workers early yesterday morning to discuss government's BERT program. Lisa Lord, CBC News.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, while it's often described as a dying town, Speightstown still continues to attract its share of shoppers for the Christmas season. Our reporter, Rianne Phillips, ventured into the northern historic town to see how the 2018 holiday season has been unfolding.
Just over 48 hours are left until Christmas Day, and Barbadians have been making those lists and checking them twice to ensure they have all the essential items.
I'm changing the color on the inside of the house. It's going to be a cream color, and on the outside I'm changing the color also. It's a greenish color.
Every now and again my mother remembers one last thing that she needs, so today we are on that one last thing for today. So I just came in to get some paint, to do some trimming around the house, so I'm hoping that there's the last thing to remember for today. So I should be ready for Christmas morning.
Some early birds have already begun stocking up on produce. Vendor Don Stewart says customers are buying more vegetables than fruits.
The color peppers, the sweet potatoes, the tomatoes, lettuce, and them sort of thing, cabbage. Make the plate look good and thing.
For other businesses such as MY Banner's Everything Store, the Barbados Lumber Company, and Eddie's Trading, fortunes have been missed. They all expect more positive developments in these last days.
The number one thing that is selling fast is fairy lights, the doilies, the Christmas tree, the mats, of course, that is going first. Basic things that people look. The curtain is moving a little slow, but people, I guess, waiting for the last minute, you know how it is.
Sunday, and then if you really want the bulk of the action, which I love, is Monday. Monday, you'll be shop like mad. You shop like you drop until Monday morning, until about, well, we would close about 10 o'clock. And that's in the night. And that's the part that I love.
Some days it was light, some days pretty heavy. More I say they rush at evenings when everyone's getting off from work and so on. They tend to rush in. We close at 5, but when 5:30, 6 o'clock, sometimes the last customers running through the door. And you were asking about how do we predict things in the next few days. Coming on to the end is always a rush.
These business owners are hoping Barbadians would uphold the tradition of last-minute Christmas shopping. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Thanks, Rianne. To news from the region now. Guyana is now preparing for a general election early next year. This after a government backbencher supported an opposition motion of no confidence against the David Granger government late last night. Now, opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo, who had been heckled as he outlined his reasons for the motion in Parliament, has already signaled his intention to work with the coalition, a Partnership for National Unity or APNU government, leading up to the polls, which could be held as early as March. A government backbencher, Charandas Persad, voted with the opposition's People's Progressive Party legislators to win the no-confidence motion in the 65-seat National Assembly after several hours of debate.